Hey guys, Elscato here. Welcome to Builds of Doom. On this episode, we will be building a snow gun so that you can turn your frigid but kinda dry winter into a winter wonderland for sledding and just looking cool in family photos. The total project is going to cost about $300 for all the pipe fittings and for a compressor and a pressure washer. You'll need 2 1/4-inch right angle T-adapters, 1 1/4-inch inline T-adapter, 1 90-degree elbow, one 2-inch long 1/4-inch pipe nipple, a 1/4-inch ball valve. You could also use a gate valve here, but the ball valves are a little bit more accessible at most hardware stores. Two 40-degree flat nozzles for a pressure washer. These also come in a cone spray or a straight spray, so just make sure you get the flat spray ones. A 25-degree flat nozzle for a pressure washer. A 22mm to 1/4-inch adapter set. These are sold at most hardware stores, and they let you take a 22mm hose off of a pressure washer and bring it down to a 3/4 and then down to a 1/4-inch. A 1/4-inch male air quick fitting, and some Teflon pipe tape for anything that you weren't feeling too lazy to get pre-coated. You'll also need a couple of wrenches to tighten everything as we go along. Alright, now we can build the thing. So take your 90-degree elbow and attach that to the pipe nipple. Attach the pipe nipple to the right angle T-adapter. Make sure that the open female ends of both of these are pointing in the same direction. Next, attach your other right angle T-adapter. This time the female opening should be pointing in the opposite direction of the last two. Make sure to snug everything down pretty tight because this is going to have to handle the 1000 psi you're going to get out of the pressure washer. This whole process is a lot less fiddly if you have a vise to use instead of the second wrench. Now we'll just check and make sure that everything looks straight. Now we can add in the ball valve. On the ball valve, you want to make sure that the handle is to the side of all the other fittings. That way when you go to open it, it won't be in the way of any of the nozzles or anything that are going to connect to the female openings right now. Then we'll put on the inline T-adapter at the bottom. Just make sure the female openings on these are pointing in the same directions as all the last ones. And check everything just to make sure it's all straight. Give it any final tweaks just to make sure they're all pointing in the same directions. That finishes the basic structure of the snow gun. All the pipe fittings up to this point you could replace with the galvanized steel that you can find at the hardware store for about half price of this brass pre-coated stuff. The galvanized steel can just rust over time. Next we'll add in the nozzles. You'll have to put the Teflon coating on all these. Make sure to check these because you need the 25-degree nozzle to go at the bottom by itself below the ball valve, and you'll need the 2 40-degree nozzles to go together above the ball valve. Then you'll just snug these all down, making sure that the slot cut in them is perpendicular to the rest of the snow gun. You'll probably have to tweak these back and forth just to get everything straightened out and pointing in the right directions. Hardware stores don't always carry these plain 1/4-inch versions of pressure washer nozzles, but if you have to, you should be able to replace each of these on the main body with a quick connect fitting. And then you can replace all of the nozzles themselves with the 40-degree and 25-degree quick connect versions. Now we should be able to add the air and water inlets on the back. So you attach the male air quick connect on the bottom below the ball valve. Now we'll attach the 22mm adapter down to the 1/4 inch adapter. Make sure to use some Teflon sealant between the two. You don't want any leak springing on this because it's going to have the pressure washer 1,000 or more PSI going through it. Then add that above the ball valve so that we can attach the pressure washer to the system. Once you snug that in place, that should finish the snow gun assembly. Just make sure to flip the ball valve into the closed position anytime that you aren't using this. If you forget to and you accidentally turn the pressure washer on before you turn on the air compressor, you could accidentally end up filling your air compressor full of water. To run the snow gun, you're going to need an air compressor. You'll want something that can handle about 5 cubic feet per minute at 40 psi or better. You'll also need a pressure washer that can handle somewhere around 1500 psi at more than a gallon per minute. You'll need something to attach the snow gun itself to. I used an oscillating fan, but you could use a ladder or pretty much anything. And you'll need hoses to connect everything together. Now just attach the snow gun to whatever you're using to hold it in place. I zip tied it to the bottom of this oscillating fan to try and spread out the area that it covers. It puts off a bit of thrust, but as long as you weigh down the bottom and make sure that it's pointing straight forward and in the center, the oscillation should still work. Now we're ready to hook up all of the water and the air hoses together. And wait for it to get cold enough outside to make some snow. Whether you'll be able to make snow will rely pretty heavily on the wet bulb temperature. There are calculators online and you'll want to make sure that you're under 27 degrees Fahrenheit, but as general guidelines you can go on this list. So at 0% humidity you should be able to make snow under 40 degrees Fahrenheit or about 5 degrees Celsius, and for every 10% humidity that you go over that, you'll have to take off 1 degree Celsius. Watch the weather and plan for a block where you have a few hours where you'll be in snowmaking range to set everything up. Just keep in mind that the colder you are for any given humidity, the better the quality of snow will be. Now that we're ready to make some snow, we'll go set up the gun outside, turn on the air compressor and bring it up to 50 psi, open up the water spigot, turn on the pressure washer, turn on the fan, and very slightly and slowly open up the ball valve. When the mix is correct, that bottom nozzle should be putting out a very fine mist, something closer to a fog. It takes fine tuning, but it's the most important part of the snow gun. It only works because the compressed air is atomizing the water in that bottom nozzle into small particles that will rapidly freeze into ice crystals. You can actually simplify the gun by removing the top two 40-degree nozzles, and it'll still work, it just won't make the same volume of snow. Now that we're making snow, we just have to check back periodically on that bottom nozzle to make sure that the mixture is still good, and wait until we've built up enough for some nice photo ops. You can cover a hill to make a small snowboarding or sledding area, or just surprise everyone in the morning with some winter magic. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all the regular jazz. If there's anything that you'd like to see in a future episode or future build, any kind of tutorials, just let us know below, and have fun snowing in your neighbors.